Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Kagekaze's Domain. This is hopefully going to be a fairly short video and something of a tutorial for those of you both not and in the beta. Some of you have been wondering how to use the exclusive mode. Sorry, it's not exclusive mode, it's elective mode. As you can see here, keep in mind, as I'm going through this, you may have to turn it on each time you come back into the game. I have noticed that all my options in here do not save. More than likely just a bug of the beta at this time. But right now I've got elective mode off, so we can kind of take a look at it and so we can see the differences. This is the skill screen that you will see, and it does not change when you turn elective mode off or on. So you may think that nothing has actually happened when it really has. So when you go into each of your categories here, obviously you can only choose what's in that category. For example, here, primary, for my Demon Hunter, I only have 3 skills. I cannot choose anything else. And of course each skill has its rune at the bottom. So you can see there's no way for me to go to any other panes. They have also removed the ability to right click and change your skills or to drag items off of the bar. Alright, now I have heard that there are some bugs preventing people from using them, so even if you follow this tutorial you may still have some problems. But hopefully this will help some of you to understand exactly what's happening with elective mode and how you can use it to your benefit. I'm going to hit apply and accept here. We are now in elective mode, and as you can see, that nothing has changed. The only things that change are when you actually go into the skill. I'm going to go here into my primary, and you'll see that honestly it looks alike. Doesn't look like there's much different, but now if you look at the upper left and the upper right hand corner, we now have some arrows that will allow me to choose different categories. If you're not looking for them, they can be pretty easy to miss as they are up here on the sides. As you can see, now I can actually go through each one. When I first saw it, I assumed it was letting me cycle through each of these tabs. So for example, I thought if I went into primary and hit right and it says secondary, I thought at first I was actually going to my secondary slot because I didn't realize the arrows were new to elective mode. But what will really help you is down here, the assigned skill will not change. So you can see that this is your best way to tell which slot you're actually working with. You'll see the skill, and right down here you'll see the little icon, in this case the left mouse button. Now keep in mind, even in elective mode, there are some things you just can't do. Because the left mouse button is intended for primary skills and skills that you'll be using frequently, you'll notice I can put spenders in here, or such as my secondaries. I can put some defensive abilities like evasive fire, since that is a weapon attack. Oddly enough, I can use vault, but you'll notice I can't use caltrops. This is more than likely because caltrops puts an item down at your feet, and if I were to assign that to the left mouse button and click, I would end up putting something down instead of moving. So they did think of that in advance. I don't know if there's any others that I can't change. I believe, yes, see here, Shadow Power cannot be assigned. Companion. Preparation. More than likely, this only affects abilities that would prevent your ability to walk. See, I could set these. Let's just see if there's any that it wouldn't let me do. You can do Mark for Death, but you can't do Sentry. So it seems to be only abilities that would keep you from moving. Smoke screen. Alright. So that's what you're looking at. So here all you have to do is pick your skill. So let's say primary, if you wanted it to be, let's just say if you wanted it to be vault. Just cycle through here to your defensive, pick vault. Which looks like it won't let me. Maybe certain things, rapid fire and impale. Okay, it actually won't let me choose vault. That's apparently a bug that should be grayed out. So, but I can choose rapid fire, evasive fire. I cannot choose Strafe. Strafe because that's a channeled ability. That makes sense. Strafe would be a very bad left mouse button choice. There are some bugs with this system. Again, keep in mind that this is just the first draft that we are seeing. Blizzard could have a more advanced build than we have, and more than likely they already know about these issues and are working to resolve them. Hopefully we'll see a beta patch to show us the changes they've made. But I'm pretty sure they won't leave it like this. They usually don't. So I'll just pick evasive fire for now, since that's easy enough to see. I'll hit accept, and there you go. You can see that my primary is now evasive fire. Very quick and easy. Well, it's not the best system. I really don't like that I have to cycle through each of these tabs because sometimes I can lose track of the ability I want. I understand why it's used this way because it lets you choose your runes as you go, but I do really miss the menu system on the side that lets me kind of choose my ability. If they could get these runes back into that kind of system, I would really like it, or allow me to change these abilities down here. I really would like to see these locks that we have down here opened up when we go into elective mode so that we can change them even though they haven't been unlocked. Alright, so I'm going to go a little bit of how I believe this system, the new rune system, is good for customization. As I was asked once, you know, when I got Hungering Arrow and I got Piercing Arrow, why would I want to use anything else? At the time, you know, I had Bola Shot, I had Hungering Arrow, and I didn't have much else other than Impale and maybe Rapid Fire. And Piercing Arrow seemed to be the obvious choice. Well, you want to keep in mind, when you use these runes, that not all of them are going to be direct upgrades. And sometimes you are going to have to make decisions. In this case, we actually do have 2 runes for Hungering Arrow, where I can choose to make it do more piercing, so 55% chance to pierce, which means it can hit more monsters, or I can use Cinder, which lights the arrow on fire and it does more damage, but it has a reduced pierce chance as compared to Piercing Arrow. Not all of them will be direct damage increases. If we look at Bola Shot, we did get a radius burst, so some of these are no-brainers that you will want to keep. But again, when you get your first rune, more than likely, that first rune is something you're going to want to use, simply because it will enhance that ability in some way. Now, not all of them will be great, because you might be sitting there wondering, well, then why is there this no rune here? Well, let me use an example here. I don't have it as video footage, but I have a monk that I was playing in my co-op footage, you may have seen, and I got a rune for Fist of Thunder, or Fist of Lightning. And its primary component is it hits 3 times for 100% weapon damage. The third hit does this burst of lightning, and it knocks everything back. The rune reduces that third hit's damage from 100% to something around 60%. My damage goes down, but to compensate for that, it does chain lightning, hitting a wider range of enemies. In that case, it is definitely a choice over do I want AoE damage or to have the knockback and the 100% weapon damage, because you will lose the knockback, but you will gain the AoE. So not every rune is going to be no-brainer. Not only that, but just because Hungering Arrow has this additional chance to pierce, doesn't mean it's necessarily better or worse than Bola Shot, because Bola Shot does more damage, and it has a wider area of effect, and it is guaranteed explosion compared to Hungering Arrow's chance to pierce. And if it pierces, it may only pierce to 1 additional enemy. So keep that in mind. There is high customization here. There's so many different runes, 5 runes per skill. I really think this is an excellent way for them to open up the skills and for us to be able to kind of play around with, just kind of experiment. There is no right or wrong way to build your class. Well, there may be some wrong ways, as of course we know that a pure, unless you give yourself some kind of resource generation, for example, as a barbarian, you might have a hard time, although there may be a quirky build that works. It's going to come to experimentation, and I honestly like the idea that they're not drops, because now I can get them as I go. It gives me something to look forward to every level. As you can see here, if I even go up to like Shadow Power, that's 30. Some of these runes that I have, or abilities, will have runes that go up to like level 60. So you'll always be unlocking something. You always have something to try. I know some people don't like the fact that it limits you to that per level, and that you won't have all the choices right away. But honestly, in the end, those of us who are really, really looking towards making these final builds are looking to make these final builds in Inferno. That's what I expect. And I think once we all get to Inferno, a lot of people are going to forget that they couldn't use that ability before they hit level 60. It might suck while you're leveling up and you don't have what you want, but I think this, once you hit 60, is going to make the customization so much better. So there you have it. That's kind of my review of the system, how it works, and hopefully I've gotten the information out there to you in a useful manner that you can now use the elective mode and set your skills any way you want. Alright, well, if you have any questions or comments about the skill system, please leave them. Any questions about what I've gone over here, if you're still not entirely sure how the system works, or there's maybe some nuance I didn't go over, please feel free, leave a comment. Alright guys, this has been Kage Kaze. I'll see you next time with the Witch Doctor.